It's a lovely morning in Abuja, the nation's capital, and we are reaching you from the hilltop station of Television Nigerian, broadcasting from Kuzape, Abuja, the nation's capital. It is Daybreak Africa, the one-stop program where you get the best of information, entertainment, sports, and all-round information that sets the pace for your day. I am Charles Ibe, and with me on set is Sandra
Guana. Thank you, Mr. Charles. You look radiant this morning.
You look
in fact, when
smashing.
you walked in, I almost didn't know the person that was talking.
Really? Wow, I'm blushing.
Thank you. Good morning, Africa.
Right.
It's nice seeing you. I'm sure you had a great weekend. I did, because my weekend was fantabulous.
It's always a fantastic weekend when you have a lot of things lined up for you and you have family and friends to relax.
And to even think that I went for my friend's wedding, everything went well, and everybody you got to meet friends, so many people that you've not seen for some time. I'm sure I had a wonderful weekend.
I'm sure you did, and it's all showing all over you.
And to even think that our president, the long awaited, after 10 days that he traveled, everything, he came back yesterday, everybody was happy despite the speculations about his trip.
Yes, it was Baba Oyoyo everywhere, and the APC was so happy. The presidency, everybody's happy. And I was wondering,
is that APC? What do you mean by APC?
Yes, the APC.
Not Nigeria.
Yes, it's
Nigerians were happy.
Nigerians were happy. APC was happy. The presidency was happy. I was happy. Everybody was happy, because at the point I was like, what's this all about? He was expected to come back after all. So
yes.
Yeah, and it's
so many people say he was not going to come back, and he was supposed to hand over to the vice president before he would travel. But since he didn't do that, knowing very well that he was not going to come back before that time, we still thank God that he's back. Baba, you are welcome.
Yes, and then moving on, today, Muslim festivals all over the world, and especially Nigerians, join their counterparts to start the one
of the 5 pillars of Islam.
Ramadan. Yes, Ramadan. They are expected to fast and give alms, abstain from every other negativities, and then be positive. And one is hoping that all of these observances and stuff translates in a greater percentage to the well-being of Nigeria.
This is the period where I don't get to see so many of my Muslim friends, because they will tell you they are praying, they are fasting, and as a friend you have to give them that time so that they will observe what they want, what they believe in, what they are.
Yes, and it's not just about the fasting, the alms giving, and that's one of the highlights of the Ramadan period. And it's expected that after undergoing this spiritual program, it's a spiritual exercise, as to speak, they are supposed to come back better, stronger, and like I said before, we expect that it will translate to peace, stability, unity. Unity, because I know that Islam is one religion that preaches peace.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I also believe that this period is not only meant for the Muslims, I think so, because most Christians sometimes they join in this fasting because it's a spiritual exercise that if you join, you make it to enhance your spiritual life to a very great extent.
All right, so Muslim faithfuls, we are with you in prayers and everything that goes into make sure you have a very, very befitting Ramadan this 2019.
Certainly.
And also today is the World Hygiene Day.
Yes.
Very, very key, because there's this saying that good cleanliness
is close to godliness.
So it's amazing that sometimes you see people on the street, you see them in their offices, you see them coming out looking good, looking smashing and all of that. But when you go to where they stay, oh my God. And especially of concern is the satellite towns. Some of those places you see heaps of garbage, and then you wonder, do we have an environmental agency around?
I said 2 weeks ago I went to a place around Lugbe, one interior part of Lugbe. It was heartbroken. I was like, this kind of place, people are living here because they were just trashing things. You could see dustbins everywhere in front of the houses. You could see some dirty things. So I was just wondering, I said, how would they live? Me that just came to visit them, it was very difficult for me to even come out from the house. Honestly. When I came out, I was just coming out to leave that place completely.
And I'm sure you were holding your breath.
I held my breath till I was able to leave the place. So I wonder how some people live. But I just pray. I don't know how the federal government can come in this kind of even though the federal government will come here. I think there are so many people. You need to do something to help yourself,
Yes,
because it's for your own hygiene.
and most times you see the environmental agency, they do concentrate mostly in the urban centers, in the city centers and all of that, forgetting that if there should be an epidemic as a result of death and every other thing,
it will start there and affect the people in the urban area.
So we use this day to remind everybody of the importance of cleanliness. Not just your body, physical cleanliness, your environment, your streets, your neighborhood. Make sure everywhere is clean, and especially to the authorities who are concerned in waste disposal and all of that. This is a day for them to really stand and make sure that Nigeria, every community, clean, speak and span.
Yeah.
All right, moving on now, we'll be going to the news desk, because I believe a lot of things happen, and Priscilla is on the standby to give us more from across the Nigeria and across Africa.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I am Priscilla Iwuram with the AM News. The Sultan of Sokoto and President General Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs Alhaji Mohammed Saad Abubakar yesterday declared today as the first day of Ramadan. The announcement marks the commencement of 29 or 30 days fasting by Muslims across the country. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar in which Muslims will observe 1 month fasting. Marking the announcement in his Sokoto palace, Abubakar said the commencement of the fast followed reports of sighting of the moon in some states, which marked the end of the month in Shaban. In accordance with Islamic law, Muslim Umar are to commence fasting on Monday. Accordingly, the NSCIA leader enjoined all Muslims to devote themselves fully to the worship of Allah throughout the holy month, and to use the period to pray for leaders, peace, stability, and prosperity of the nation. He further called on Nigerians to continue to live peacefully with one another, irrespective of religious and tribal differences. After a 10-day private visit to the United Kingdom, President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday returned to Abuja. His plane touched down at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, at about 6:24 p.m. A statement by his spokesperson, Femi Adesina, said some reckless online media, irresponsible political opposition, and other bilious groups and individuals had gone on overdrive since the president left the country on April 25th, insinuating that he was going for hospitalization and would not return until after 10 days, as stated. In his vain imaginations, they stated that effective doctors have advised President Buhari to stay longer for more intensive care. Ahead of the inauguration of the 9th National Assembly and election of presiding officers, Senate leader Senator Ahmed Lawan, All Progressives Congress, and Yobe North has intensified his campaign strategy to actualize his aspiration for the position of Senate President. Senator Lawan and his team this time have taken the awareness and drumming for support to media houses in the nation's capital, Abuja, between Monday and Wednesday. The Senate leader and his supporters visited the headquarters of Daily Trust, Leadership and Blueprint, where he told the world through the media houses his plans for the Senate if elected. Senator Lawan is also using the visit to the media houses to canvass for the use of open ballot system to elect the presiding officers, against the backdrop that open ballot system being used globally for elections in the parliament is what majority of the federal lawmakers elect are canvassing for and should be adopted. The military yesterday announced the ban of motorcycles use in the forests of 6 of the 7 northwest states and Niger in north central. The states include Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina, Kano, Kebbi, and Kaduna. The army warned that those caught violating the ban would be considered as bandits and kidnappers. According to the army spokesman, Colonel Sajja Musa, the ban became imperative given the fact that bandits perpetrate nefarious activities with the use of motorcycles. The general public, particularly in the northwest and some parts of the north central in Nigeria, where Operation Haben Kunama is ongoing, as enjoined to bear with the Nigerian army as concerted efforts are being made to combat the insecurity menace ongoing within the area. And that was the AM News. Thank you so much for watching. I am Priscilla Iwurm. The Daybreak Show continues shortly after this break. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Priscilla, for the news update. Meanwhile, I want to find out something. Bikes. I don't know how bikes. So many people in the rural areas, when they want to move, that don't have means of moving. How will they move?
I think it's going by the premise that most of these bandits, the bikes are an easier way of moving, especially when you have rough terrains, bad roads, and all of that. It's easier to navigate. And most of these terrorists, most of these kidnappers, it makes it easier for them to operate, especially within the hinterland. So I think banning bikes might be one
of the solutions.
Exactly. I believe the army must have done their homework. They must have had some intel that made them say, okay, this probably it must be an aid to insurgents.
And I feel that these two, it always affects women the most, because women don't carry bags in those areas. Anytime you carry your bag, someone will come from nowhere, snatch it, and off they are gone. So to a very large extent, I think it's going to help. Yeah,
let's hope it's all for the good. It's for the betterment of everybody. It's for security of Nigerians in those states that were mentioned. Now moving on, Priscilla just gave us news from Nigeria. And of course, it's a Daybreak Africa show. So we will go across Africa to bring you news in brief from South Africa, from Ghana, and from elsewhere on the 10th continent. Welcome to News Across Africa on Daybreak Africa. As South Africans go to the polls on Wednesday in one of the most competitive national elections since the first multiracial vote in 1994, the leader of South Africa's main opposition party over the weekend urged voters to give change a chance in next week's general elections after 25 years of ANC rule. Musi Maimane told more than 10,000 Democratic Alliance supporters at Durbansville Stadium in Soweto that it was time for change as the country battles corruption, poverty, and high unemployment. Senegalese lawmakers on Saturday approved a constitutional reform to scrap the post of Prime Minister, the first initiative of President Macky Sall's second term in office. The motion passed with 124 members of parliament voting in favour and only 7 against, following a debate over the weekend by a parliament where the president's party enjoys a majority. The country's lawmakers also backed legislative changes aimed at preventing the president from dissolving the National Assembly, which in turn can no longer table a motion of no confidence against the government. Algerian police over the weekend arrested Said Bouteflika, the youngest brother of former President Abdulaziz Bouteflika, and 2 former intelligence chiefs, Generals Bashir Atamani Tagat and Mohamed Medien. Said Bouteflika, who served as a top advisor to the presidency for more than a decade, acted as Algeria's de facto ruler after his brother suffered a stroke in 2013, which left him in a wheelchair while his arrest signaled the climax of moves aimed at dismantling of the Bouteflika system. Massive ongoing protests calling for a radical change to Bouteflika's regime pushed the ailing president to resign on April 2nd, but demonstrators continued to demand the removal of all those linked to the former administration. South Sudan's regional group IGAD, in a statement on Friday, said the country's ruling and opposition parties had agreed to give themselves 6 more months to form a unity government as part of peace deals they signed in September. President Salva Kiir over the weekend lifted a state of emergency imposed in 2017 in 5 northern states of the country in a bid to help foster peace. South Sudan gained independence from Sudan in 2011, but descended into the civil war 2 years later, and after a string of failed agreements, a peace deal was signed last September between the 2 sides, represented by Kiir and his former deputy rival, Riek Machar. The Anti-Human Trafficking Unit of Eastern Region Police Command, in collaboration with Ghana's Navy, has rescued 16 children between the ages of 5 and 13, allegedly trafficked to an island at Afram Plains to embark on hazardous work, mostly fishing. The team is still searching for 8 more victims trafficked to same location at Edrepota, an island community, whose foster parents fled with them during an operation on Saturday, April 27, 2019. The Eastern Regional Police Command has, through a recent undercover investigation, gathered with pictorial evidence the existence of 24 trafficked children, including 1 girl, engaged in forced labor in the community. That's the news across Africa in brief. Daybreak Africa continues in a moment. Stay tuned.
You are welcome back. Thank you for those words. I really got something from it because the way they said the children of the poor you refuse to train, they are the ones that will not allow your children to rest.
Course, that was
so any poor, any
know.
rich man that you are refusing to train someone that is under you because the person is poor, then your children will not rest.
Of course, the clarion call to the rich among us to always remember the poor in our midst. Do something that will better the life of that child today, because you never can tell. That child might be the one, the savior for your family, the savior for the community. I remember Goodluck Jonathan was the former president that said he went to school without shoes.
Without shoes.
And I believe at those times, there were people who, their children were chauffeur driven to schools and all of that. Yeah. And then when the turn of events, he became the president. And where were those children?
Those children, at the end of the day, they will come to him for help, of course. That is why it's very important for you to treat people nicely, because you don't know who will be in that position to help you tomorrow.
All right. Always be nice, Nigeria. Always be nice, Africa, to whoever. That's your child, the child of the gate man, the child of that farmer that you know. Once you're in a position to help, always don't hesitate to help. Up next, we have newspaper review. And Victor, as usual, goes to the street to bring us what the word is on the newsstand.
Good morning. Victor. And welcome to the newspaper review segment of the Daybreak Africa show. I am Victor Tehemba, and I'll be taking you through the headlines of today's national daily, May 6th, 2019. Please come on. So, as usual, you know, we do our newspaper review on the streets, and today being Monday, we will try to see what the newspapers are saying, and we would like to kick off with the very first one, which is Daily Independent. And we'd like to see what Daily Independent is saying. Their screaming headline says, Buhari may retain Udoman, Lai Mohammed, Fashola. And the writer there captions, no need replacing performing ministers. That is from Sage. And above the masthead, by your left, you find the presidency mocks naysayers as Buhari returns from London visit. 1 billion naira IMO debt. CBN, 14 banks deny overseeing states' accounts. Fashola finally names allegedly corrupt contractors. Rivers threatens to sue Amechi's ex-aides over 34.5 billion naira. That story is on page 44. NAS leadership, we are yet to decide, says the PDP. Wants police APC to leave Senator Adeleke alone. And that story is constantly captured on page 42. If you get today's Daily Independent, you go on there. And just below the picture story, you find insecurity. Track mercenaries, APC smuggle thugs, PDP tells military. And the writer adds, government abduct Taraba female permanent secretary. Okay, and what's the picture story there? The picture story here is the police security chiefs welcoming the president from his return. Welcoming the president on his return from the UK. And that is that for Daily Independent. We'll try to look at the next paper. Move on to The Guardian. The major headline here says, again, Boko Haram kills soldiers. Military confirms 5 deaths, foils attack on Borno village. Why Islamic sect is reclaiming lost territory. Arrest APC mercenaries, thugs, PDP tells security agencies. And just below the masthead, you find PDP alleges INEC wants Rivers Goba Post Council. EU Germany move to grow Nigeria's non-oil sector. Gunmen kill 400 level student in commissioner's house, abduct girl. That story is on page 12. How shareholders activism ensures accountability, protects listed firms. That is a special report, and you find that special report on page 44 of today's The Guardian. Sultan and others urge prayer for Nigeria as Ramadan begins. So we'll move on to the next paper. Vanguard. How we survive bandits attack. How we survive bandit attacks. Katsina, Zamfara victims. That story is on page 5. Okay, and the writers that accompany the major headline says, bandits killed all men, set our villages ablaze. 15 soldiers killed, 19 wounded in Borno. We lost 5 men, killed cause of terrorists. That is the military. Army bans use of motorcycles in Kano, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, Katsina, Kaduna, and Niger. Security stakeholders task government on urgent intervention. All of that story, you're going to find it on page 5. And Umaru Yaradua, legendary dictionary leader, says Jonathan and Atiku. Okay, and still on the battle for the new cabinet to have 15 politicians just for Cross River ministerial slots. That story is on page 8. If you get to this page, you will see that. So what do we look at again here? Daily Sun. We have to look at Daily Sun before we wrap it. The screaming headline here says, Army, Amnesty, trade tackles over insecurity. Global body alleges brutality, forced conscription by military, Boko Haram. Military bans use of motorcycles in Ghana, Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto, and others. The complete story will be found on page 4 and 5 of today's Daily Sun. Beside the masthead, you find anxiety over NAS Service Commission. Buhari yet to act 5 months after nomination of commission members. Delay breaches NASC Act. That's on page 6. And below the story, you find why I want to be president in Dume. We are yet to decide who to support, says the PDP. And okay, Jonathan Atiku orders remember Yaradua, utilize ex-president on 10th anniversary of death. So we look at the Punch. The headline here is very different from the ones we've seen before. State of public universities, libraries, worrisome. State of public varsity libraries, worrisome, says actual president. And that is on page 2. If you visit the Kennedy Library, you will see the level of fraud there. When there is power outage, that is the workers, we have to be running around to look for diesel to power the generator. That is if the generator is working. That is UI ASU chair. And the picture story here is part of a burning airplane. And the caption that comes with it says, a Russian-made Superjet 100 catches fire in mid-air and crash lands at Sheremetyevo Airport outside Moscow on Sunday. Okay, Ramadan, prices of tomato pepper rise by 60% in Lagos. That story is on page 57. Banditry, okay, we've taken all of that. UTME, 5 jailed for exam fraud, 123 others facing trial. That page is complete on page 12. Then we have leadership. Leadership says a different headline as well. Concerns as judges' salaries remain static for 12 years. That's the list on page 4. Army, okay, we keep of that same with the others. I think that we still have to take a few more headlines from the sports newspapers to see, because over the weekend a lot of sporting activities went down, and they would like to see exactly what went down. Okay, and let's start with Sporting Life. Sporting Life. Just below the headmask, you have 20 2019 African Cup of Nations, Nigeria to respect Ross contract if, and it continues on page 4, you will get that. Onyekuru scores 13 goal. Nigeria grateful. And Hassan Guardiola dreads Jamie Vardy. Okay, just a lot of headline here to go. Igalo nets 7th goal of the season. Okay, a table named player of the year. And Mersin, Ronaldo rivals Messi, not Salah. Ronaldo rivals Messi, not Salah. And not above that, you find Chelsea top 4 place. Trash Watford 3-0. You find that complete story on page 2. Okay, and Sporting Sun. Major headline says Mike quits Borough. Scores 5 years, 226 days after last scoring for Chelsea. That story is on page 6. Hazard demands move. Okay, that story is on the back page. Really wants to go to Real Madrid. Juve wants Pogba the Leeds Isco. So Juve would like a return of Pogba to Turin, and that story is complete on page 3. That's good. Social. Man, you don't deserve UEFA Champions League football. That is from the Manchester United coach and all of that. So I think we're taking basically most of the sporting headlines here. And that's just it. So that's all we could take for today. We hope to be back here again tomorrow morning to take more headlines. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Victor, for that update from the newspaper stand to the street. As he said, a newspaper indeed drives away the ignorance. First, you have to read it to be able to tell the story. So please make sure to go and grab a copy of the newspaper so that as yourself abreast of happenings in and around you.
Get yourself informed. Get one newspaper so that you know the details. You know what is happening around you and in your country, definitely. Now, we are going to another segment that I love so much. That's the health segment. Now, we have so many foods, so many things that we need to take. Besides going to the hospital to take drugs, we have some routes that will take them that detoxify our system. I want to promise you that Diane is out there to tell us details, to give us details on the things you need to take as antibiotics. We have the antibiotic in the drug form. Diane, over to you.
Welcome to this episode of Healthy Living. Today we'll be looking at nature's most effective antibiotics. What are antibiotics? Antibiotics are used to kill bacterial growth. Most people think of antibiotics as modern medicine, but they have been around for centuries. Most modern antibiotics are derived from natural sources. Certain plant extracts, essential oils, and foods have antibiotic properties. For example, some food and vegetables extracts can prevent the growth of bacteria in food. Sometimes these natural sources go beyond the food and can aid in your personal hygiene. Cranberry extracts contain both antibacterial and antioxidant compounds, making it a home remedy for urinary tract infection. Now let's look at some of these antibiotics we can try at home. We have honey. Honey is one of the oldest known antibiotics, tracing back to the ancient times. Till date, most people use honey as natural antibiotic and skin protectant. Honey contains hydrogen peroxide, which have some antibacterial properties. Its high sugar nature content also helps stop the growth of certain bacteria. Additionally, Since the time of Aristotle, honey has been used as an ointment that helps wounds to heal and prevent or fight infection. Honey can help kill off the bacteria and aid in healing process. Lastly, on honey, don't use honey for infants under a year old. We have onions are loaded with numerous health benefits. And here is a quick look at its incredible health benefits. Onions help fight cancer, improves heart health, lower blood sugar levels, promotes healthy digestion, prevents inflammation and other allergies, improves immune system, cures ear disorders, maintains bone health, enhances eye health. Let's look at colloidal silver. Colloidal silver is an alternative therapy for common health issues such as sinus infection or cold. Other benefits are it is used as a stimulant in healing the skin and other soft tissues. You can treat ringworm at home with colloidal salt silver because it's a potent antifungal. Colloidal silver benefits can be experienced as an antiviral for HIV/AIDS, pneumonia, and herpes. It is also a fantastic anti-inflammatory remedy. It is widely used to control sinus infection. Colloidal silver helps to prevent all kinds of flu, including swine flu, as well as a common cold. We have seen most of nature's antibiotics that we might not have known. Note that the natural antibiotics listed above are antiviral and antifungal too. Bottom line, antibiotics really should be used for life-threatening situations as a last resort. Thank you for watching today's episode on healthy living. I am Diana Odura. Keep watching Television Nigerian.
Thank you, Diane, for that report. I am sure you were inspired because I am. This is something I've practiced and I do every day. Like every evening before I go to bed, I take ginger, garlic, lemon mixed together and it detoxifies your system. It does that to me and I always make sure I don't forget it. I take it so that in the morning, my bowels are free and I'm easy to go. It is very important, Charles. I need you to try it. Just have to tell your wife so that every evening before you go to bed, after you finish eating all those things that you've eaten, enjoying yourself,
honestly,
you have to take a glass of garlic and ginger.
This segment is an eye-opener, especially when it comes to eating healthy.
Yes.
Not just eating for eating sake.
Yes.
Understand? Knowing what to eat, especially for the information about onions, garlic, and all that. I know a lot of people don't like garlic, for instance, because of the smell. And then onions as well. Personally, I don't really like onions, especially when I have to take suya. I prefer onions, but taking onions to chew, that's not me. But I think I might have to start.
You have to start
because of the obvious.
for the health benefit. And in fact, so many people that don't like garlic, I want to advise you, you have to try it. No matter how offensive you feel the smell, the after effect is, you have to just give it a try and you will not regret it.
And of course, some smart industrialists have started packaging all of this into supplements and concentrates and sell it at exorbitant prices. But these are things that are always around you.
Yeah.
You understand? I don't have to mention names anyway, but there are a lot of products out there that you have to practically pay through your nose to get them, and they tell you it's nature's best, nature's
The market.
They are all around you.
Look at turmeric. Turmeric is one thing people don't like because they say the smell is it doesn't have the smell is not offensive, but then they'll say they don't like the after effect, the taste of it all. But turmeric is another root that had the health benefit is tremendous. You go and Google it and you see what I'm talking about. It's very important. So what is there's one thing that what is in Sokoto? We're looking for it in Sokoto. So as much as possible, let's try and put this in, look for these things so that we'll use them that are just around the corner.
All right, moving on, we have a special feature just for you. hard work, days, labor, and then you're so tired you get home, you want to sleep. And
Something.
when especially when there is no line, no power supply, and then you just trying to catch your nap, and then some visitors come knocking on your doors everywhere. I mean, well, let me not just let the cat out of the bag. Let's just watch this mini documentary after that.
That wasn't me trying to give anyone a round of applause. It was just me depicting the typical scenario of killing mosquitoes with your bare hands. Popular amongst flying insects, the mosquito is a household name with its operation synonymous to that of a vampire due to its blood-sucking features. What most people think is that all mosquitoes bite and spread malaria. What they do not know is that only the female ones do. When the mosquito strikes, even the strongest of men could be thrown off balance by its provoking song-like rhythm. Bite, and most of all, what follows: malaria. Little as it may seem, its bite and what follows has cost the lives of many, both young and old, as it is no respecter of age, sex, or stature, such that one might not be totally out of place to christen it small but mighty. To say mosquitoes are deadly is to say the least, as it has seen many companies come up with different things such as sprays, coils, treated nets, and other insect repellents, all aimed at keeping the rather small killers at bay. Interesting of it all is a discovery by scientists where a person's blood is poisoned with an exciting pill called vaccine. The recent research shows it makes human blood poisonous to mosquitoes and kills them. A group of scientists discovered that disease-carrying flies died after feeding on human blood, which contains this drug. Residents in some rural parts of the FCT expressed different opinions about this.
Very happy about it. The government really tried about it. And we are very appreciated to hear that. Especially our dogs, when we take that medicine will work and everywhere. We thank God the environment will look clean. And thank God you see everything is dirty. And we are already happy to hear that what government is bringing for us. So we are very, very happy about it.
If it does not harm us, why not take it just to not to be infected with the malaria disease? So it's very, very good. So far it doesn't harm.
As drugs we are getting drugs to reduce the essence of mosquito in the area. And you see all these bowlers, these bowlers, the people are living as we are living close to it, bring more mosquitoes close to us. But if we keep our environment clean, to protect, to reduce the excess of mosquitoes close to our bed.
Sojoji da shimuwa wannan gari gaskiya ba mu son sauro a gaskiya daya in gwamnati da su taimake mu yanzu kamar ni da kin gani nan yara na rame nan kwanan na tashi malaria fever sosai ba karamin shan ruwa na sha asibiti ba domin sauro yayi yawa in gwamnati da su taimake mu gaskiya a ruwa ma duka muna shan ruwa a rafi.
TV and crew also paid a visit to the chief of Buzapi district, Mr. Bitrus Yakubu. The chief implored the government to assist in tackling environmental issues.
I want to beg government to assist us, and we are community. We can get up, we join together with the government to do community work.
Apparently, this innovation will be good news in Nigeria, a place where millions of people have died as a result of malaria caused by female mosquitoes, and millions also spent trying to tackle same. The sad story might hopefully change now, as the mosquito-killing effect in the new drug is set to last up to a month after patients are given the drug, which is already used to treat scabies. The good thing is, it is not harmful to humans. Researchers hope the drug can be used to stem the control of malaria and potentially other mosquito-borne diseases. study published in the Lancet Infectious Diseases reveals that both doses of ivermectin are poisonous to mosquitoes for up to 28 days. It also shows 97% of mosquitoes died 2 weeks after feeding on the blood of patients giving the high dose of ivermectin. Lead researcher at the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, Dr. Menno Smith, happily welcomed the findings. He confirmed that even 1 month after the subjects took ivermectin, the blood was still killing mosquitoes. Amidst the hassles of coping in a mosquito-prone environment, these rural dwellers still laugh off their pains, hopeful that things will change for the better, someday, somehow.
Judging from the health risks posed by dirty environments, stagnant ponds, and so on, it is indeed a great thing, this innovation. Perhaps Nigerians would embrace it, perhaps they wouldn't. What's more is, there's hope for a malaria-free future. Eunice Johnson, TVN.
Well, I've always wondered, what is the connection between mosquitoes and the human ears? What are they always looking for in the ears? Why don't they just bite and walk away and then leave our ears alone so that we enjoy our peace? But then that doesn't mean that mosquitoes...
For the fact that they always locate the ears, I don't understand, because it's when you are sleeping after a very tired day, you just want to come and relax yourself, then something will not come. You have to wake up and stand, open your eyes. Sometimes to even think that after the whole process, you will not be able to sleep again. It's very tiring.
And also, it's on point that today is World Hygiene Day, because mosquitoes, their favorite breeding places are always stagnant waters, which also, of course, we know is as a result of dirty environments and all of that. So the cleaner the environment, the less opportunity for mosquitoes to breed. And of course, you know, over time there have been several rollback malaria programs by government, giving out safety nets and all of that. But I think a concerted effort needs to be done to ensure that malaria, which the primary cause is a bite from mosquitoes.
I remember that. I feel that, I don't know why the Americans don't really complain about mosquito bite like that, because they say they have a way of, they will spray things on air so that the whole environment will just kill everything that is flying around. But if Nigerian government can apparently introduce something like that, it will help us.
When I was in school, I was a biology student. Of course, I believe everybody must have done biology at one point in time. And then they are always telling us about the economic importance of mosquitoes. You know, it has a lot of economic importance, because one mosquito bites you, what do you get? You get malaria, and then you have to be drugs to treat malaria and all of that.
You go to the hospital.
You get to the hospital, and then some companies are manufacturing malaria drugs and all of that, and then it helps to boost the economy. So it's part of the economic importance.
So that
mosquitoes
is why
are not actually they're not actually that terrible. But
they are terrible.
Effort has been on to
some
make
people,
sure
mosquito, malaria alone can kill them.
Definitely.
I've heard cases where people died of malaria fever, which is caused by mosquitoes. So even in as much as it has its own economic importance, you should try as much as possible so that it will be curbed to a minimum level.
All right, clean and healthy environment will ensure to a larger extent that mosquitoes stay very far away from your houses. Well, we just came out from a weekend, and you know, for many guys and girls around the world, the weekend is always synonymous with something sports. And of course, there are a lot of actions over the weekend, English Premier Leagues, and of course, not forgetting our own Nigerian leagues as well. I don't know why the emphasis is always on EPL.
For the Arsenal fans, they drew their match. Meanwhile, Chelsea won, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what Ima is going to tell us today when it comes to sport.
Well, hello and thanks for joining us on the sports segment of Daybreak Africa. I am Idoko Iman. I trust you had a great weekend. Now, World Soccer Governing Body, FIFA, and Nigeria Football Federation, in remembrance of departed Nigerian football legend Rashidi Yakini, have paid glowing tribute to the player who passed on 7 years ago. nicknamed the goals father, Late Yakini, who is Nigeria's all-time record top scorer with 37 goals in 58 appearances, died on May 4th, 2012 at the age of 48 after a protracted illness. Now, the legend Rashidi Yakini lives on. On this day in 2012, Nigeria's all-time top scorer passed on to glory. Now, keep resting. Peace goes further. That was as tweeted by the official handle of the NFF. And FIFA also tweeted, also posted a short message on their Twitter handle in remembrance of Yakini with a picture, his famous celebration after holding the net after scoring Nigeria's opening goal against Bulgaria at the 1994 World Cup in the United States of America. Now on to the EPL. Chelsea have secured a place in next season's Champions League on Sunday as Manchester United and Arsenal badly fluffed their lines in the race to finish in the Premier League's top four. Maurizio Sarri's side beat Watford 3-0 to lift them into third spot behind Liverpool and Manchester City, and their day was made all the sweeter as United drew at relegated Huddersfield and Arsenal were held by Brighton. Now the results mean that with one round of fixtures remaining, Chelsea on 71 points cannot be caught by 5th place Arsenal, who are on 67 points, or United, a point for the back. 4th place Tottenham on 7 points, and with a far better goal difference than North London rivals, Arsenal are virtually assured of Champions League next season, barring an unlikely sequence of events. Now, Sarri's team were booed off after a floppy first half, but 2 goals in 3 minutes from Ruben Loftus. They were booed after a fluffy first half, but 2 goals in 3 minutes from Ruben Loftus-Cheek and David Luiz lifted the mood at Stamford Bridge before Gonzalo Higuain sealed victory. Chelsea first 4 games in all times competitions. Atletico Madrid fell to their heaviest league defeat of the season as they were crushed 3-0 by Espanyol on Saturday. Atletico thus missed the chance to mathematically guarantee they finish second in La Liga ahead of neighbors Real Madrid. Espanyol took the lead right before halftime when Atletico captain Diego Godin slid the ball into his own net as he scrambled to clear a cross from 20-year-old left-back Andrea Pedrosa, who had burst forward from his own area on the break. And the Catalan's top scorer, Borja Iglesias, doubled the home side's lead early in the second half as they again pounced on the counterback after an Atletico giveaway, with the striker calmly tucking the ball past Jean Oblak from inside the box. Espanyol missed several chances to score again, but Iglesias deepened Atleti's humiliation by converting from the penalty spot in the 89th minute and also completing his side's biggest league win of the campaign. Atletico, who have now lost 6 times this season, are second in the standings on 74 points after 36 matches, 9 behind champions Barcelona. Now on to tennis. Naomi Osaka is concerned about her form and fitness by coming through a tricky first round against Dominika Cibulukova on Sunday at the Madrid Open, declaring she's more comfortable on clay courts than in the past. Osaka has struggled since splitting with her coach, Sasha Bajin, in February, while an abdominal injury forced her to withdraw in Stuttgart 8 days ago, creating doubts about her challenge at the French Open later this month. The Japanese world number 1 will now face Spain's Sarah Sobris tomorrow in round 2. And that's the size of our package on this segment. Daybreak Africa continues shortly. I am your host, Idoko Emmanuel.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for that update on sports. Sport lovers, I believe Chelsea fans are going to be very happy right now. They've made the top 4. And then some other...
I thought that's not that it's top 4.
I think Chelsea, he did mention Chelsea and Arsenal. They are in the top 4. You know, there were fears that Chelsea might not make it in the top four. But with their
because
win
the last
over
time
the
I checked,
weekend,
I think they were around position 6. So
yeah, they've come up. They had a very
they
massive
try.
win.
Congratulations to them.
Yes, congratulations, Chelsea. Congratulations to all fans, all football lovers, and then also as well tennis lovers and lovers of sports generally. You know, don't
Osaka
always,
is my girl always. She's always my girl.
yes, sport is always one activity that puts body and soul together. So
and
if you are
unite people.
yes, if you're not actively involved in sports, please do try to make sure you get involved in any kind of sports, whatever, to keep in shape, to lose weight, and also to live healthy.
Certainly.
Yes, that's about the size of our program this morning on Daybreak Africa, and I believe you must have had an exciting time. I was so much excited.
I was so much impacted.
Yeah, so please do go out there and enjoy a very wonderful day. Have a very fruitful and very blessed week ahead. I am Charles Ibe.
Enjoy the Ramadan to all the Muslim faithful. See you same time tomorrow on Daybreak Nigeria. I'm Sandra Guana. Bye.
Bye.